Memory? Was it the trip to the Maldives with your family? Your graduation to mark those 4 years of hard work? Or was it that special day with your number one? Any moment can be precious. And keeping them accessible long-term is important. Synology Photos makes it easy to organize all your personal photos and videos, so that it's easy to go back in time and revisit them. And if you want, share them with your family and friends. Or for the studios and pros out there, sending them to your clients. Photos makes it effortless to build amazing albums of your shots, and even helps you group them together with facial recognition or picture metadata, such as the lens used, location, or by details like aperture or shutter speed. Photos is also designed for multi-user environments with shared spaces, making it easy for family members or colleagues to share and organize content together. And best of all, it can help protect the photos you take with your phones automatically. Streamline importing your media with USB copy on your Synology NAS to automatically import files directly off your memory card and optionally ready it for your next shoot. Photos is your all-in-one content management tool, ready to share at any time. With DSM 7.0, we're introducing even more features that redefine data management. Check out more in the description below.
Hello, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. All right, earlier was just a quick introduction video from Synology introducing the new latest Synology Photos. That will come with together when you updated your DSM from 6.2 to 7.0. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. It's basically a quick update also at the same time from from Moments to Synology Photos. Okay, so that's the quick update. Right. So very quickly, some housekeepings. Okay, so basically, today we are talking about surveillance station. So how you can convert your NAS into an NVR. Okay, at the same time, also to talk about some of the models from Synology that is specifically for surveillance use. All right. So a couple of topics that we'll go through, some Synology updates. All right, and also at the same time, some news. Okay, and also business updates. And basically to answer any questions that you guys may have. All right, and please feel free to also chat with us. We have distributors in our chat today, so you can also reach out to them if you have any questions. And also there will be a survey form at the end of the presentation for you to scan the QR code, and all attendees get to purchase a very special product, okay, or a very special bundle or package. And you can choose to purchase with either of the distributors in Singapore. It's no restriction. All right, so double check with your sales. Okay, I believe some of the sales are also in the chat today, so you can also reach out to them if you have any questions about that. Also, at the same time, we also have staff from Synology also with us. So if you want to reach out to them, at all means, you can also ping them, no issue. Other than that, if you have any other questions, we will definitely look at all the comments and we will be able to try our best to answer them as we can. Okay. If I'm too fast and if there's anything that you want me to repeat again, just let me know. I will definitely do it again for you. And also at the same time, I will try to do a live demo on one of the new features that came out for the new surveillance station release, which is 8.2.2. Okay. So there is one new features where you can do snapshots. So you can trigger action rule where you can make your camera do snapshots, be it however many seconds or however many minutes. And you can stitch them up together to become a time-lapse video if you want to, or you can use it for your own recording purposes. All right. Of course, similarly, inside the surveillance station, there is already a time-lapse function where it will basically help you compress all your whole entire camera video into one particular movie. Okay, not movie, but basically a recording. Okay, so now let's jump over to my slide for today so we can see. Okay, very quickly, let me show you. So as usual, like what I mentioned earlier, housekeeping, I will basically go through my slides. All right, and of course, I would love to do a demonstration if time allows. All right, I'll also give you guys some Synology updates. All right, and especially on the hard drives and also the new services that is provided for Singapore commercial users. All right, and as I mentioned earlier, please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you have any. And as usual, chatting format will be on your Q&A purpose. Q&A. All right. So in terms of Synology updates, okay. So there are some updates that I need to update you guys, be it not from me, but it could also double check back with your sales or distributors. Okay. Very quickly, do remember that if you're using the newer models for 2021 for the rack storage, okay, double check all the approved lists, okay, for the hard drives, SSDs, and NVMEs, okay. As usual, from the start, RAMs, okay, RAMs do not use third-party RAMs, okay. Make sure to use Synology RAMs, all right, because basically, just a very quick advanced heads up. If you're not using Synology RAM and you've been found out to be not using a Synology RAM, the NAS warranty will be void. Okay, it's all stated black and white clearly on Synology website. All right, so do take note of that. And as for SSDs and NVMEs, yes. So we have been using quite a number of SSDs and NVMEs since last 2 years, and there's been quite noticeable issues, as in like a lot of people tend to use a lot of consumer grades SSDs or NVMe and plug in as their cache memory, and these tends to die out very, very fast. Okay, these tends to die out very, very fast, and thereby creating problems and issues for support. Okay, because support will have to answer questions as to why this and why that. Okay, but basically, if you look at the data sheets of the SSDs or the NVMEs that you purchase, it will basically state and let you know how much read-write of a lifespan that it has. Okay, and if you're using in a NAS environment, then you will know that your read-write lifespan, okay, is going to be very, very short because you're going to use it a lot. All right, so take note of that. All right, and at the same time for hard disks, okay, for hard disks, basically Synology has came out their own. All right, so you can have access to 8 TBs, 12 TBs, and 16 TBs. Okay, so all these are all available in stock. Okay, so you have all these in stock, and you can basically have it all with you. Okay, so all these are all available from the distributors. You can purchase all these from your local distributors. All of them have stocks for all the hard drives. Okay, so there's no excuse in the sense that you can't find any of this. All right, even the SAS drive. Okay, Synology has also launched their new SAS drive. Okay, so you can also inquire from the distributors, and you can have access to all this information. Okay, so don't worry about that. Right, so I've covered the Synology hard drive. Do remember to double check on the drives that you use. Now, in case if you need anything that's smaller than 8 TB, all right, always double check the list of hard drives that has been tested by Synology to be used. Okay, make sure they're on the list. All right, don't just check the model number. At times, also make sure you look at all the small little minor details. Okay, so those are very, very important. Similarly for SSDs and NVMEs. Okay, so these are also very, very critical. We are all consumer resellers and consumer installers. We have to take note of all these small little things to make sure that you don't buy something and after you open up everything, you install it, it wastes a lot of time. Okay, and you realize that, oh, we missed out by a certain version of firmware or a certain version of series of SSDs or NVMe. Okay, so these are all very, very important. Now, for resellers, take note, okay, there will be a slight increase for the price for this station. All right, I know some of you do buy this. So the DS220J, there will be a slight increase in price. There's also a slight increase in price for the DS1621 Plus and the 1821 Plus. All right, so there will be announcement made by the distributor side, okay, unless if they still have any of the old stocks at the old price, okay, but incoming stocks for any time after next Monday, all right, it should be on the new pricing. Okay, so take note of this. For those who have projects, all right, revalidate your quotes again. Okay, sales, you have to double check again on your quotation to make sure that it's still valid. Okay, if it's not, then what is the new price? Okay, so take note of that. Right, so at the same time, there's also a quick announcement on the business continuity support. All right, so this is a new thing that's basically for commercial users where they need to have additional support, right? In the sense that they need to have 8x5 next business day, or they need to have 8x5 4 hours, or they need to have 24/7 4 hours. All right. So this is a new function where, not function, sorry. This is a new support plan where you can add on and sell it to your end users, where in case your end users require additional support for their NAS or for the hard drives. Okay. So there will be contact available for you to contact if you want to purchase, and how much the price per year. Okay. And how it basically works, that you can contact the supplier for that. Okay. Now, so very quickly for today's topic on the surveillance market, what we want to know is what we are looking at in terms of surveillance market. Okay, who are our customers and what kind of solution it can do. All right, I'll go through some of the features. So the feature highlights, some very quick case studies. Now, in terms of using Synology as NVR, there are some licensing involved. All right, and how the licensing works. Okay. Very quickly also on some of the competitors analysis, and also I will show you an actual demo on one of the new features that came out, which is the snapshot. Okay, of course you can do snapshot per se on the camera, but this one what happens is you can set a predetermined time or predetermined action to trigger a snapshot, so that you can keep a record of the snapshot. All right, and at the end we will have a FAQ. So some of the questions that are commonly asked with regards to using the NAS as an NVR or to use the surveillance station. Okay, so very quickly, we look at the surveillance market today. Okay, so basically what happens is, why Synology? All right, so basically there are three categories. All right, so you have your pure VMS softwares. All right, so these are just dedicated VMS, video management system, and compared to Synology and as compared to traditional NVRs. Okay. So very quickly for Synology, in terms of compatibility, all right, it can support to more than over 7,000 cameras, all right, more than 130 brands of cameras in the market. So there's no so-called limitation in that sense, all right. And besides that, in terms of camera counts, okay, how many cameras that it can support, it basically depends on the size of the NAS that you buy. And then most importantly is to look at the data sheet of the NAS. Okay, if you have any questions with regards to this, check back with your sales, all right, and they can be able to answer you. All right, so you have to consider the frame rate, how many frames you're going to use, okay, what kind of resolution, how much storage you need. All this needs to be tabulated. If not, if you don't, then you may run into a problem where you may undersize your NAS that you want to use as a NVR. Okay, so all this you have to take note about it. Now, in terms of setting up, it's very simple and quick for Synology. You get the NAS, okay, install the surveillance package, get the required number of license that you need. That's it. It's as simple as that. You don't have to buy any additional servers, storage, software, or anything else. Okay, everything is all inside one single box. Okay, and you need to do HA for your recording, it's all possible, and you don't have to purchase additional license for HA. Okay. You do not have to purchase any additional license for doing HA or to do HA on your surveillance station. Okay, it will basically work. All right, and then basically what you get is your solid hardware and your cost. The total cost of ownership stretch over a period of time is definitely still cheaper than getting a pure VMS, or as compared to the functions and features that Synology is able to provide you compared to a traditional NVR. All right. So in any case, in case there's any request for my slides, just reach out to us. Just reach out to me. Okay, I'll be more than willing to share my slide with you. In case if you are going to discuss any case with any of your customers, just reach out to me also. I'll be more than willing to help you on that. Okay. So at the same time, if you want to see any demonstration on the surveillance station, just contact me, and then I'll be able to do a live demonstration for you, and you can see it. Be it that I want to check it out with a camera that is compatible, or what if it's a camera that's not compatible? Can we use OnVIF? Yes, you can use OnVIF. Okay, what about if it's a camera that not on the list and not on OnVIF? Then the next option will be you can use RTSP. Okay, so there are many options that you can to add the cameras into the Synology. All right. Now, in terms of costing, okay, the license that you purchase for the cameras, additional cameras, they are all migratable, and they are basically perpetual. It follows the NAS, all right, and they are all transferable, like I say, migratable. All right, so you don't have to purchase anything, so long as you keep the physical copy of the license that you purchase. Do not lose your physical copy of the license that you purchase. Okay, make sure you print it out. All right, in case anything happen, you make sure that you have a physical copy of the license and your purchase invoice. Okay, that's very, very important. So in terms of troubleshooting, for Synology, basically it's an all-in-one solution. So there's a single point of contact. If you have any issues with it, you can just straight away reach out to Synology support and they'll be able to advise you. And you don't have to reach out to multiple servers. Like if it's a server issue or multiple vendors or suppliers. So if it's a you don't have to reach out to say that. If it's a server issue, you have to reach out to the server supplier. If it's a storage issue, you have to reach out to the storage supplier. Or if it's a VMS issue, you reach out to the VMS. Or you have to troubleshoot and check which one is the one that's causing issue. Whereas with the Synology, it's all in one single box. If you have any issues, you just reach out to Synology, unless it's a network issue. Okay? Network issue, then you just contact your network guy. All right? So, and in terms of updates, all right, Synology always gives very, very fast patches if there's anything wrong with it that's being found. All right? Be it security or be it functions and features. They're all very quick to update. And in terms of scalability, all right, and in terms of central management, you can buy multiple units of Synology box and then basically link them all up to one central point where the CMS will be able to manage it. All right. So that's all there you can do with all the functions and features that you can see in the Synology. Now, in terms of warranty, okay, it stretches from 2 years all the way to 5 years, depending on the NAS that you purchase. Some of them comes with 2 years warranty, some of them comes with 3 years warranty, some of them comes with 5 years warranty standard. Okay, for those that's 3 years, if it's a plus model, all right, do note that you can purchase additional warranty, EW201 or EW202, all right, so that will also extend the warranty from 3 years to 5 years for hardware. Okay, take note there are available packages that you can purchase, but they must be registered within 30 calendar days of your purchase. Okay, so that's to say that if you purchase it on the 1st of January, okay, you collect the unit on, let's say delivery was on 15th of January, okay, and then you switch on, connect to the internet, all right. Once it's connected to the internet, that counts as day one, okay, because then Synology knows that this unit has been used, okay, it's connected. Okay, that's 1 calendar day. Okay, it's not 30 working days, it's 30 calendar days, all right. So in case if customer has a change of mind and wants to upgrade the warranty from 3 years to 5 years and you want to purchase either 201 or 202, EW201 or EW202, be sure to take note and tell the customers, if you want to make the decision, it has to be very, very fast. Okay, Synology gives you a window of 30 calendar days from the day it's activated, okay, to purchase additional warranty. Okay. Now, in terms of customer and solutions, all right, so you got to check if you have customers that requires to deploy surveillance across multiple sites. Okay, Synology has a very, very good selling point in the sense that the license fee, okay, is very, in a way, affordable. All right, it's not asking you for arm or a leg, or there's no annual fee or subscription fee, monthly subscription fee. Right, it's a one-time fee. Okay, and basically there's no additional cost for any of the advanced features that comes with it. Right, when you purchase the camera license, you get all the video analytics that comes with it and all the functions and features that come with it. Right, now in the terms of your deployment, you can create a single portal for them to do the live viewing, the recording, or the alerts, or whatever that you want to set. All right, you can do it even through the CMS. Okay, and you can also support it through different various accounts. You can create multiple accounts or different accounts at different levels. And also at the same time, if the customer is using Windows AD, it does support Windows AD at the same time. Okay. Now, of course, in terms of integration with any other third-party devices, like for example, if the customer has any speakers or the customer has any additional equipment, you can double check again on the list, make sure that it's approved, and then you can add it into the surveillance station. All right, surveillance station is not just about cameras, but they also have door access, some form of door access, some speakers, and then also there is some other IOs that is supported. All right, so there is API ready. So in case if your customer requires to do some form of API integration, all right, it's all available for you. You can just reach out to Synology and they can double check with you to see if it's doable. All right, then we can go in and handle the case together. Okay. Now, summarize. Okay, for customers who already have existing surveillance station, okay, they may or may not have a CMS function, or customers who may have already have a CMS function, but trying to look for a more cost-effective alternative. All right, because the current CMS functionality that they may have may cost them an arm or a leg every year just to renew the monthly license or the yearly subscription. Okay, those are not cheap. All right. Right. The next one that you can look for is customers who are looking for a surveillance station solution that can record for years. All right. So with Synology's NAS, right, you can use the RAID system technology to basically create a multitude of volumes or storage space. So you can basically support up to 96 units of hard drives. So if you have 96 units of 16 TB, be it a RAID 10 or RAID 6 plus one hot spare, right, it's still quite a sizable size of recording. Okay, and at the same time, the flexibility that it offers you for recording, you can set what kind of recording you want, whether it's constant motion, okay, or triggered. All right, and at the same time, you can also create different kind of vaults. You can have on-site or off-site archivals, and also the hardware warranty. Okay, you can have up to 5 years of hardware warranty. Okay, so all these are all there for you. Okay, so look out for industries that require to record and store footage due to compliance or auditing purposes. All right, so Synology has a very, very good solution for people like them. Okay, right. So here's a very, very quick show on how it basically looks like. Okay, so you have your CMS host, okay, followed by your various recording servers that you may have. Okay, and at the same time, if you need to provide a viewing station, so there is also the visual station where you can basically allow the reception or the security side just to view the images, but not to do anything else. All right, you switch it on and use it without the use of a keyboard or mouse. You basically just show up and display the screen. All right, or you can even trigger to have supervisor level, so then only the supervisors are allowed to do something with the keyboard and mouse. Okay, and at the same time, if you have, regardless of how large or how small the deployment, you will still have access to view the cameras, be it on browsers or on the mobile app. Okay, so all these are all available, and the mobile apps are also totally free. You don't have to pay anything at all. So all these are free to download, and users can just access the mobile apps basically using their username account, all right, and then that's it. Basically, that's done, and then very, very simple. They'll be able to see all the viewings all the recordings that they have. Okay. Now, in terms of the visual station, okay, there are basically two models. There's the VS360 HD and then the VS960 HD. Okay, so if you need 36 channels or you need 96 channels, okay, so there are two different types, and then you can just basically, do you need any license to view? No, you don't have to. You just make sure that you log in the username, password, and then that's it. Okay, basically it supports MPEG-4 and H.264. Right, if you need H.265, you need to get the VS960 HD. Okay, basically it has two HDMI. It supports up to 4K or 1080p. All right, and at the same time, you must note that Visual Station does not support any other products. It only can be used with Synology NAS or NVRs, okay, or the DVA. All right, so take note of that. And of course, it also needs a network port. Okay, it needs network in order to connect back to the Synology. Right, because we know the Synology is a network access storage. Okay, any questions so far? Let me check. Everybody is okay? Okay, so far no comments. Have I lost anybody? No, we're still good. Okay. Right, so moving forth. Okay, so for existing NAS users, all right, they may be looking for all-in-one product. Okay, so it could be a SMB who just want to invest and maintain one set of equipment, all right, and they want to add on surveillance, all right. So if you want to add on surveillance to the existing unit, double check the data sheet to make sure that it can fit the solution that they want, because they may be using it as a file server, backup storage, and all this is going to consume a lot of RAM. Okay, the first consideration that you may want to do is make sure that the unit that they have the capacity and the capability to do the add-on surveillance solution. Okay, if not, then maybe you can suggest to them to upgrade the unit. Okay, and also at the same time add more RAM. Okay, the more cameras that you have, you need more RAM. Okay, now at the same time, the good and best selling point is that it supports a wide range of cameras. Okay, and also basically it saves everything into their NAS, and they don't have to share their video stream with anybody else. Okay, now at the same time, if they need to do any form of live streaming of their cameras, it's also available as part of the function and features of Surveillance Station. You can live stream one of your cameras and then basically stream it to YouTube or somewhere that you want. Okay, then at the same time, for such SMBs, the good thing is that there is a very good and powerful app, like I mentioned earlier, which is a DS Cam, for the owners or the directors to be able to view the cameras, to check up on things, and to make sure that they can do whatever they need to do. All right, and there's no recurring monthly fee or yearly fee that they need to pay for all this. Okay, so if you're approaching any startups or any SOHOs or any SMBs, this will be a good solution because they are maybe already having a Synology NAS. You can use it with as a file server, backup storage, and you can add on the surveillance, be it 2 cameras or 4 cameras or 8 cameras. Okay, so this is a nice and nifty solution for them. Right, so over here you have a very, very quick one where you can see that if it's using for home, right, they already use it as per a multimedia center. If it's for SMB, other than just for file station, file servers, for the backups, all right, they can just add on the surveillance solution. Now, in terms of surveillance station, what happens is you have a very mobile access to a lot of things. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, is the mobile app. Okay, it's totally free. Okay, and at the same time, you can do a lot of various functions and features where you can do recording. You can do search with using the video analytics. Okay, there are 6 video analytics that comes with it for every camera license that you're paying. By default, every box comes free with 2 camera license. Okay, so for those home users, let's say if they have only 2 cameras, then that's fine. Okay, 2 cameras is fine. They can just add it in, and you will work. All right, and unless they need 3 or 4, then they just purchase the additional 1 or 2 more license, and that should be done. Okay, so this is a very, very quick overview on what you can add on. Okay. Now, in terms of the features, okay, I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the features, right? So, in terms of surveillance stations features, the three key things will be on the management. Okay, it's easy to manage in terms of the number of cameras that you have. All right, and you have your live view. Your live view be on your computer or on your visual station or on your phones or tablets. Okay, so all the apps are also free, be it on Apple or Android. Okay, so all these are all free. Now, in terms of recording and timeline, you can of course also do scrolling. You can backtrack again and also look at your recording. If you set on motion, it will show you when was the last recorded, so you can look at it, and you won't waste any of the space recording anything that's not necessary into your NAS, and then basically thereby saving your space. Okay, so very quickly, management, live view, and recording and timeline. All right, so in terms of camera support, I can't stress enough. It's supporting over 130 brands, over 7,600 cameras. Okay, and then basically you can also double check on the cameras by clicking on the link that's available, or you can check it on Synology website. It's all available for you. You can also support if you have past cameras that are on analog, or if you have on video servers. Okay, and to make sure that they are connected via a switch to be connected to a NAS. Okay, so just take note of that. Okay. Now, in terms of third-party devices, like I mentioned earlier, right, there are APIs available. Now, one of the best integration that Synology has is with Axis. So it supports access control from Axis, intercom from Axis, IP speakers from Axis, and the I/O modules from Axis. All right. And what you can do is, if you are ready to do your own integration with API, you can download the API guide from the Synology website. All right, and you can code your own API, and basically you can provide professional technical support for your customers. Okay, so you can do your own form of integration if you have your own third-party devices. Okay, so API guide, you can get it from Synology website. Okay, for those who are playing with API. Okay, now in terms of action rule, which I will do a live demonstration later on how to create. Okay, so basically what you do is an if then else statement. Okay, so you create a rule corresponding to a predefined event. Okay, so if this happens, okay, then trigger something. Okay, do something. All right, once that's done, okay, you can enable or disable the cameras, and then that's it. All right, so basically it's a very simple configuration. If then else. Okay, if this happens, do this, trigger this, or schedule this. Okay, so for example, later I will show a live demo where I will trigger the camera to do a snapshot automatically every 1 minute of 24 hours. Okay, throughout the whole period. All right, be it there's any activity or not, just take one snapshot every minute. Okay, of course you can also configure it to 30 seconds. All right, but of course then that will take a lot more space. Okay, so in case if you have a project where you need to install a surveillance and the owner requests or the authority requests that you take a snapshot every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes or every whatever that they require you to do to trigger, then you can just set the rules. Okay, so there are action rules available. Okay, if you need to see a live demonstration, just contact me. All right, and then I can do a live demonstration to show it to you how it works. Okay. Now, if you have your own lab NAS or if you have a laboratory where you are doing your own testing, do note you have 2 free cameras, so you can install your own cameras and then you can just try and configure them yourself. All right. For the action rule, there's no restriction. Okay. Right. In terms of user management, okay, you can configure the different kind of users, where it's manager level or spectator level. Okay, so in terms of manager, you can manage, operate, and view. Okay, now in terms of spectator, you basically just restrict them just to be able to see things, and then that's it. Okay, nothing else. It's very, very simple. Okay. Now, in terms of notification, okay, so there will be customers asking, how am I notified? All right, so the usual ways, you can do email. All right, that's the tried and tested method. Everybody knows that. All right, another one is to do SMS. Okay, if you do SMS, then you have to subscribe to SMS to pay for it. Okay, it's not free. SMS is not free. You have to pay for it. Another one is to do push notification through the DSCam app. Okay, so the app you can also do push notification. Right, so you just have to make sure that you go to notification and then customize it. All right, then you'll be able to push you the notification. Of course, if your end user or your consumer gets too much notification, then you just have to switch it off or set some kind of rules for them. Okay. So notification, as I mentioned earlier, it's email, SMS, and push notification. Okay, take note of that. Okay. Now, another one is the home mode. Okay, so basically it switches the security level based on where you are. So this is called kind of a geofencing. All right. So if it detects that you are at home, all right, then you can basically do if you want to have any kind of settings. So you can customize your settings, whether recording will be switched off if you're at home or recording will switch on when you're not at home. Okay, then you can change different kind of action rules according to your needs. All right. So there's geofencing support. Okay. And then you have your central management system. Okay. Very quickly, let me touch on something that is on the home mode. Okay, there are some customers who are very concerned about privacy, so they don't want any form of recording to happen when they are at home. Okay, so what happens is they'll be on their mobile phone, and then once the network detects that they are home, okay, they may trigger the cameras not to do any form of recording. Okay, or the fact that you trigger recording only when they are not at home. Okay, so it's either or vice versa. All right. So now back to the CMS. All right. So in terms of CMS, basically it lets you send and stream all your videos back to a central location. Okay. The good thing about CMS is there's no extra license fee required for the CMS function. You just have to make sure that the CMS NAS is large enough to be able to handle all the videos that are coming in. All right. If you have any questions about this, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll be able to help you answer. I've done quite a few CMS solutions in Singapore, and so far it's worked very well for the past couple of years. All right, and it has been moved from project to project, and is still using it present day. Okay, now of course one of the good thing is in terms of reliability. Okay, you will know that in case anything happens on-site or off-site, okay, if it's very, very critical, of course, on-site you may trigger to do a HA to make sure that you have double NAS doing the recording in case anything happens. And at the same time, you can also send the recording back to the HQ where the CMS server is hosted and to keep the recording. Okay, so you can also trigger the CMS to be your archival vault. Okay, so for example, you may have one sub-office in Bukit Merah, and then your HQ is in Raffles Place. So vice versa, both sides can do archival of both sides recording. All right, so that's one of the examples. All right, so now in terms of failover, all right, so similarly, you can also run HA on both sides, whether be it on the premise or the off-premise. Okay, so don't worry about the HA portion. You can definitely do HA on both sides. It will definitely work. Okay, of course, you have to size your HA properly and make sure that they are the same models. Okay. Now, in terms of the camera live view, okay, you can also add your own EMAP and then design the EMAP to add the cameras so that you can know the angle and the views that you will get. Okay, it's very flexible and easy to design the EMAP. All right, so long as you have the floor plan, okay, plug it in, all right, place the cameras, okay, and then it'll basically show you what you have in terms of coverage. All right. Now, for the live view, you can also stream multiple cameras, all right, and be sure that your computer and your network is able to handle it, all right. And you can also change the settings of your live view. For those critical cameras, you may want to watch them. You're going to see them in HD. For those non-critical, maybe you switch them down to 480p so they don't hog up too much memory or too much bandwidth, all right. So all these are all customizable and all these are all adjustables, okay? There's no restriction in a sense from Synology as to this you can't do, that you can't do. No. Whatever that can be done, all right, it's all given to you, all right? Make sure that you have the right authority to change out whatever settings that you need to change, okay? Right. In terms of live view analysis, okay, like I mentioned earlier, they have the video analytics. So you can also choose and then to have the alert panels as to something that may have happened. Okay, it could be a missing object, something went missing, all right? Or it could be camera occulation, somebody blocked the camera, somebody obscured the camera. Okay, so there are 6 rules. Then basically you can set the rules based on motion or based on whatever that you want, and then you can just create the alerts for you. Okay. So now, basically what happens is surveillance is required now for us in the sense that it has become a daily kind of thing, all right? There's also the surveillance client. Okay, it's also free to download. Okay, you can install it on any computers, all right? And then basically make sure that you have the authorization to access the NAS, and it's also free, all right? But at the same time, do note that it will leverage on the GPU resource of the PC. Okay, don't get a small tiny little PC with a built-in graphic card and expect it to do very nice video display. Okay, if you're going to use it for station and you want to have very nice view, make sure that the GPU on the station PC is powerful enough to handle all this information. Okay, so take note, the client software leverages on the GPU. Okay, the GPU of the PC. All right, and at the same time, it supports all the features that you need for your surveillance station. Okay, so take note, whatever you want to do for your surveillance station, okay, it's all available. Okay, so all this, just take note, and at the same time, it works across the board with IE, Safari, Firefox, or Google Chrome. All right, so all these are all available for you. Okay. Now, the next thing is in terms of mobility. Okay, you can download DSCam. You can use it on a tablet or you can use it on the phone. All right, there's no restriction on that. At the same time, if you don't like running your own PC, you don't like running on a tablet, you want it on a visual machine, okay, to display on the monitor, you can get the visual station, which I mentioned earlier. There's the VS360 HD or the VS960 HD. It has a VESA mount. You can mount it on the back of any monitor that supports VESA mount and connects by HDMI, and that's it. All right, you don't have to attach any keyboard and mouse. That's not necessary unless you want to give them authority to access. All right. Now, if you need H.265, remember you need the VS960 HD. Okay. Now, in terms of recording, how you want to manage your recording? Okay, you can export your recording. You can also add on your signature where you can authenticate the recording. Okay, or you can have a time slice backup. Okay, or you can do the recording in terms of managing it as how you want to store it. Okay, you can limit the size of your recording. Okay, you can limit, not say limit, you can restrict which volume you want to go. Okay, so you can select volume 1 or volume 2 if you have multiple volumes. Okay, now in terms of the size per camera, you can also limit it when you are setting up your camera. You can say that this camera, I only specify 10 gig or 100 gig, okay, out of your total volume. Okay, or you want to be able to specify your total overall recording storage. Okay. So all these are all available. Now, in terms of timeline view, okay, you can also synchronize your view, right? Where you can have sync mode, where you can compare footages, recording from different cameras, right, to sync up with the correct timeline, okay? Or you want it on different cameras on different time to see if there's anything suspicious going on. That's all possible. And also you can change your layout, how you want the cameras to be laid on the timeline view. Okay. At the same time, you can also filter recording based on events and not to based on the whole entire recording. Okay. So I'll try to show you some timeline recording if possible, all right, to show you what's the difference. Okay. Now, if any of these functions and features that I mentioned earlier, you need to see a live demo, do reach out to me. Don't worry, I have the live demonstration available with about 6 different cameras, all right, with different kind of view, indoor and outdoor, all right, which is I'm running, and also live streaming to YouTube. Okay, if you want to see the live YouTube stream, just reach out to us so we can send you the link. You can also look at it day and night. Okay. Now, the next one is the smart search. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, all right, there are 6 video analytics that comes with the license that you purchase or that comes free with the 2 cameras. All right, the 6 of them are motion detection, foreign object, focus loss, missing object, camera occultation, and no idle zone. Okay, so let me spend some time to explain these 6 to you. So motion detection, you can select a location or a place where you want to detect if there's motion. It triggers a recording or it triggers an action. Okay, that's one thing. Right. Of course, you can select the whole entire video. That's not an issue. Right. Next one is on foreign objects. Okay, so you can select a particular area or zone where if there is a foreign object that comes in, right, it will trigger a recording. Okay. Next is focus loss. If somebody went to vandalize the camera, okay, or block the camera, okay, it will also trigger a recording. Okay, there's a missing object, so you can have the camera focus on a particular object or particular part of the area. If it's missing, you will also trigger an action. Okay, so that's one thing. All right. So similarly for camera occultation, if somebody's blocking the camera, okay, no idle zone. For example, if you have the camera looking at a entrance, or if you have the camera looking at a location where you don't want anybody to be idle or not doing anything at the area, okay, you can set it so that it will also trigger some alerts for you. Okay, as usual, you can define the area where you want the action to be done. Okay, the video analytics, which I mentioned earlier. Okay, then of course you can also do based on the search result. Okay, so in case if anything happened or something has happened to trigger, you want to know what time and when it happened. So you don't have to go through the whole entire recording to find out when it happened or what happened. Okay, so you can also use the smart search to basically help you search easier and faster in that sense. Okay. Then, like I mentioned earlier, you can do archival vaults. Okay, so you can basically record on-site, on-premise, and then send it on different kind of timing, like off-peak hours, to the off-site, where the HQ will be able to store it for you, or vice versa. Okay, or the HQ can store it off-site, be it. Okay, so it's either A to B or B to A, doesn't matter. And you can set different kind of retention policy, how long a video you want to keep for, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay, for that to happen, of course, you have to make sure you have sufficient storage. Okay, that's very, very important. All right, certain things to consider when you're doing archival vaults: bandwidth, period of time, and the retention. Okay, as usual, the very, very first time you're doing it is very painful. It'll take the longest, but subsequent will be just incremental. Okay, so that's to say that for the very first time, if you're doing the archival vault in one shot, you are sending 1 week's video, it's going to take a longer time. And once that's done, all right, you can do it on a daily basis, then that will be very quick and very fast because the incremental will be very little. Okay, so of course you will set it on the off-peak time so that you have the sufficient bandwidth to do it. All right, so two consideration very quickly: bandwidth and space. Okay, bandwidth and space. Right, so that's the very quick animation. Right, so very quickly, let's look at case study. Okay, so for case studies, most of it will be on the very, very commercial side. All right, one of the ones will be on the Holiday Inn. Okay, so the Holiday Inn in Middle East, all right, they're using it for quite a number of years. All right, and basically they have quite a number of hotels, and basically they have to stream from all the various cities in Saudi back to the HQ in Riyadh. Okay, so what they did was they employed Synology solution, where they have on-site cameras and solution, and also CMS on the individual hotels, and to stream everything back to the HQ, so that the HQ at the same time will be able to see all the information and all the videos. Okay, and they'll be able to retrieve the footages very, very quickly. Okay, one of the big reasons that they like it is because basically it's easy to manage. Okay, there's a CMS, all right, and then basically for searching of footage is very, very fast and very, very quick. Okay. Right, the next one will be on the Plaza Premium launch. Okay, so Plaza Premium launch is basically a premium launch where you get in all the airports all over the world. All right, so they want to be able to stream everything back to Hong Kong. Okay, so they employed the Synology solution basically also at the same time to stream everything back to the HQ in Hong Kong, where they can store all the video footages from almost anywhere in the world. Right. And so in Hong Kong, they basically will be able to have easy access, right? And they also have the offsite data backup and the CMS as usual. Okay, so there are 52 launches around the world, and all 52 of them will stream back to Hong Kong for storage and for HQ to do the viewing. All right. So there is a very, very large case. All right. There's basically 52 cities around the world, all right, streaming at the same time. Okay. The next one is a French company, all right. So they have deployed French, it's kind of like a supermarket, all right. They basically deployed across the whole entire France, all right, and they have 350 stores. Okay. Similarly, they have large stores, small stores, big shops, small shops, and then they size up different size of Synology, and at the same time send it back to the HQ security office to take a look and monitor all their stores. Okay. So this is one of the big stores in France where they are having security, and mainly for them it's more on motion detection in case of any suspicious movement. All right, and for the CMS, basically it allows the HQ to be able to help the store monitor. Okay, other than the store's individual security team. Okay, so these are all the 3 case studies that I have. Okay. Now, let's move on to the dollar and cents. Okay, other than the cost of the NAS and the hard drive and the network. Okay, the next thing you consider is the licensing. Okay, so a very quick one-page explanation on licensing. Okay, you got to add the number of licenses that you need. Okay, and licenses come in 3 SKUs. Okay, you You can buy them in 1, 4, or 8. Okay, so you have 1 license pack, 4 license pack, 8 license pack. Okay, and all of these are all available ex-stock in Singapore. Okay, if you have any requirements, you can also reach out to me if you have any questions. All right, I'll be able to advise you on the sizing. Okay, so as usual, default license 2 comes free with every NAS. Okay, if you purchase the NVR model, it comes with 4 free license. If you purchase the DVA, okay, in this case the DVA 3221, it comes with 8 free license. Okay, do note the default free license are not migratable. Okay, at the same time, if you try to use virtual DSM, there are no free licenses also. Okay, don't try and run 2 DSM and try to get virtual free license. Okay, it's not going to happen. Okay, now do note the purchase license are migratable. Okay, so what you have to do is make sure you keep a copy of the license. Okay, or before you transfer, make sure you double check the license. Okay, before you delete it from NAS A to be transferred to NAS B. Okay, now at the same time, license can only apply to one Synology NAS at any one time, because basically the NAS will have to authenticate back to their server, to Synology server. Okay, online verification is required to add or delete any device licenses. Okay, irregardless if the customer says, oh no, my NAS has to be offline, okay, off the air and doesn't go online, then you still have to figure out a way how to, in a sense, how to connect to the internet for the NAS to authenticate with the servers in Synology. Okay, now for HA and failover, there's no additional license required. Okay, so if, like I mentioned earlier from the start, okay, if you are doing HA, there's no license required. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now if you lose your license key, okay, Synology is not responsible for it. Okay, so that's why always make sure, like I mentioned from the start, make sure you keep a copy of your license and the purchase. All right, that's very, very important in case anything happens. Okay, if anything happens to the NAS, all right, and you change out your NAS, but you didn't save the license before you change out a NAS, okay, so long as you have a copy of your NAS, a copy of your license, and copy of your invoice, okay, you will be able to retrieve back for you. Okay, Synology will be able to help you on the back end to delete away from your old NAS, and then you can input it into a new NAS. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, 2 default licenses are free, okay, for all the NAS models. Okay, 4 for NVR, 8 for DVA. Okay, so that's very, very important. Keep a copy of your license and the purchase invoice, all right, in case anything happens. All right, so that's for licensing 1, 4, and 8. Okay. Now, in terms of competitor analysis, all right, so let's take a look at who are the competitors in this space. Okay, so you have your traditional few VMS brands. Okay, so these are the few large VMS. Okay, and also of course the NVRs. Okay, so you have your NVRs, and then you have your costs. Okay, so basically you have your support for the cameras. All right, as you can see here, Synology supports up to 7,600 cameras, all right, or more, and over 130 brands of cameras. Okay, so look at the number of licenses that you need. Okay, then you just add on. Now, for those who are using fisheye cameras, okay, the license will also help you dewarp. Okay, there's no additional cost for the dewarping. Okay, but do take note. If you are doing fisheye, double check again. Make sure that the model is supported. Okay, and also if you are doing it for retail, okay, if you're going to add any POS machine recording, okay, every POS that you add on is POS. Okay, it's going to cost you 1 additional license. Okay, so take note of that. And as usual, all the license comes free with all the functions and features. Okay, there's no more additional cost that you need to pay on top of the license fee for using any of the function and features that comes with Synology Station. All right. So very quickly, this is a very quick overview of the competitors' pricing. Okay. So if you look at the total cost of ownership, as that you don't have to purchase any more yearly license. Okay. So then there you'll be saving a lot on the TCO, the total cost of ownership, if you were to break it down over 3 years or 5 years of the lifespan of the NAS. Okay. Now, let me check. So far, any questions? Okay, yes. Okay, can you just reach out to us? We will definitely send you the PPT, no issue. Okay. Yeah, like what Lisa has mentioned earlier, just fill up the survey. Okay, the QR codes. Okay, so as you see that I have been flashing the slides, and there are some QR codes. Okay, so these QR codes you can just scan, and then you can fill up the survey at the end. Then Synology will reach out to you. Okay, so basically that's a very quick overview of surveillance station for me on my end. All right, let me give you a very quick update next on the business continuous support plan that is currently available in Singapore. Okay, you can inquire, check it with your distributors, or you can check it with the supplier. Okay, so let me talk about it. Okay, so now when you're selling all your commercial solutions, okay, there has been quite a number of feedback as to that. I want to have 24/7. I want to have 8x5 support. I want to have MBD and stuff like that. So Synology has discussed with a supplier locally to do that for you, and then you can basically purchase it because they have different kind of plans for you, and you can reach out to them, and then they will be able to update you and let you know what's the cost and what's the services that's provided. Okay, so in this plan, basically, Synology has arranged with the supplier to do NAS and hard disk program. Okay, so basically, it supports Synology products. Okay, and the support plans available are 24/7/4. Then there's the 8x5/4, and then there's 8x5 MBD. Okay, so basically, it's the service plans are basically tied to your NAS warranty, hardware warranty, and similarly for your hard disk is also tied to your hard disk warranty. Okay, so if you purchase a 3-year warranty NAS and you were to upgrade it from 3 years to 5 years, you can also purchase it 3 years plus 2. Okay, so it's according to whatever warranty period that you have. All right, and basically what you can do is you can contact the supplier, okay, or you can contact Lisa or Synology at the end of the presentation. There is a QR code where you can scan, and then you basically can also reach out to them, and they'll be able to furnish you with the pricing. Okay, so all these are all available right now in Singapore. So don't worry about saying that, oh, if I buy a NAS from a distributor and if I have any issues, who do I look for? Or if I need additional support plans where I want to have 24/7, I want to have 8x5, that kind of situation. Okay, so right now in Singapore, for Singapore resellers, all right, this is available for you to purchase, to sell to your end users. Okay, so basically work out and look at the plan itself. Then you can have better support in this sense. Okay, don't just stop and say that, oh, that's all the support that you're going to get from Synology by buying Synology. Is that it's basically wait for the RMA to happen or wait for the hard disk to have to bring it back to the distributor, and then the distributor change and then bring it back to you again. Not anymore. Okay, so all these are all available for you to purchase. So there's no reason or any further request that you need additional support. Okay, so you can purchase all this to add on to your solution that you have for your end user. Okay, so I have a QR code for you and also the email address. You can reach out to them. Okay, at the same time, if you have any questions on this, you can also reach out to Lisa. She'll be able to better advise also. Okay, now next is I'm going to do a live demonstration. Okay, basically I'm going to show you how to use the surveillance station to set up a minute-by-minute snapshot. Okay, it's very, very simple. It's similarly using the if, then, and else statement, okay, as to what you want the camera to do or what you want surveillance station to ask the camera to do. Okay, so let me switch over to my tab where I can share my surveillance station. Right. Okay. So this is my surveillance station. Okay. For those who have already done surveillance station, and this is the latest update from Synology. This is the 8.2.2. Okay. So basically, what happens is in this particular unit that I have, I'm using the DVA 322 1, okay, and you can have all the functionalities that are available, okay. So in this case, I'm also using my DVA3221 to do my live broadcast, okay. So over here, I have a live stream, okay, that is doing to my YouTube, okay, our YouTube channel, all right. So what happens is if you want to create a snapshot of your camera IP cam to do things, you got to go to action rule, okay. Click on action rule, and action rule will ask you to do the configuration, okay. It's basically like a very basic form of programming, okay, like doing if and else statement, okay. So all you have to do is, as usual, click on the start, then go to action rule, okay. Once you go to action rule will come out, and all you have to do is just click on add, okay. So currently right now I already have a action rule here where I have done a schedule of taking a snapshot of my camera, okay, and I have also set how often I want it to be. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a rule, all right. So basically you just have to name it, okay. So I'm going to just name it ABC, right. So there's two ways, whether is it triggered or scheduled, okay. So if you want to do a schedule where it's minute by minute or whatever, so I'll just go to schedule, okay. So the actionable will be interruptible, okay. Next, I want to choose a camera, okay. Then I want to know what I want to do, okay. There are several actions that you can do. Is basically take snapshot, enable the camera, disable the camera, okay. So I want to take snapshots, okay. Now it goes by seconds, minutes, or hours, okay. Seconds will be too fast, okay. So maybe we can just switch it to minutes. So you can just set it as every 1 minute, okay. I'll force this camera to take a snapshot. So then just click next. Now you want to show when and what time you want it to be active. Of course, during the middle of the night, we may not want it to be active. We maybe only want to take during the day, or you can just set it as active throughout, okay. Then just click next, and then that's it, okay. Now, in terms of advanced, okay, so you can change and keep the logs, okay. You can decide, okay, how often you want it to be. Then in terms of history, you can see how often you have done your action rule. Now, in terms of storage, it's going to store in the same location where you have done your video surveillance stations storage, okay. Yeah, so take note of that. Now, where do I see all this information that I've done? Okay, so all you have to do is just click on snapshots, okay. So as usual, go to the upper left hand corner, then you just go to snapshot, okay. So snapshots here, I have already taken a fair bit of snapshots, okay. So you can see here, all right. So I have snapshots done all the way, okay. So it has been taking 1 minute for the past couple of days, all right. So you can see over here, okay. Now, after you have done all these snapshots, you may have customers who ask you that, okay, I want to stitch it all together into one MP4 or one GIF. Okay, that's available. Okay, you can Google and you get the software for free, or you can use Adobe to do it. All right, and just select all the images and file it into one, and you'll be able to do it for you seamlessly. Okay, it's as simple as that. Or you can download individual snapshots if you want to, and then that will settle everything for you. Okay, so you can see here I have already done quite a fair bit of snapshots. Okay, and then it's all stored, and then I have also at the same time limit the number of size of the storage. Okay, so once the storage is full, what's going to happen is it's going to delete all the old images. Okay, so take note of that, and you can also do various things like blurring the image or masking the image or download the image or delete it away. Okay, so as you can see that as we are looking through the snapshots, okay, the action rule that we have triggered earlier has started to take pictures every 1 minute, take a snapshot every 1 minute. So you can see here it's coming in. All right, so as usual, you can also sort it by thumbnail or list view. Okay, and also You can sort it based on the date and time. Okay, all these are all available. Okay. Now, advanced wise, you can also record and put, if there's any preference, you want to not sort based on snapshot time taken or the video recorded taken. Okay, you can also add your timestamp into your snapshot. Okay, in this case, I have limit my snapshot folder to up to 100 megabytes. Okay, and then basically you keep it for 30 days, and then I suggest where I want to keep on which folder. Okay, so all this information are all available for you as you create and then your snapshots. Okay, so the next one I will show you very quickly is on the live view. Okay, so I have quite a number of cameras on my DVA. You can see here, all right? So you can see my office and my studio. Okay, so over here, you can also trigger and do your management and all your alerts. Okay, so all these are all available for you. This is your live view. Okay, I don't show too much. Okay, so all these are all available for you in the surveillance station. Okay, and it's very, very easy to add cameras. Okay, so I have quite a number of cameras, and just to add cameras, you just go click add. You can do quick setup or complete setup. Okay, quick setup, basically what happens is it will help you scan your network as to what kind of cameras you have, be it that if it's supported by Synology or if it's an on-beef camera. Okay, if it's an on-beef camera, it will of course display as being an on-beef. Okay, if it's supported, it will show up the brand and then the IP number. Okay, so all these are all very straightforward. Just click, there's a GUI, a wizard for you to set up all this. Okay, now when you're setting cameras, make sure that you know your username password in case you changed it. Okay, or the best part is if you know the IP number, that will be very straightforward and very fast. Okay, that will be easiest. Right, so this is a very quick overview on the camera. Okay, so far any questions as to how to set up the surveillance station? Anyone have any questions? Okay, we want to reach out. Okay, let me go back to my slide. Okay, hang on. Share screen. Right. So now we do have quite a number of questions being asked from installers and resellers as to how to use the surveillance station. Okay, so let me briefly go through some of the popular questions that we get. Okay, so basically, how do you estimate the bandwidth and storage requirement and choose a suitable model for user? Okay, so at the Synology website, there is an option where you can click on NVR selector. Okay, so under NVR selector, you will choose the number of cameras, the days to store, in the video format and resolution and FPS. Okay, very, very important is the video format, resolution, and FPS. Okay, if you don't have these three, then it's going to be very hard to determine the bandwidth and storage. Okay, knowing the number of cameras and days to store is very good. Okay, but at the end, basically, you still need to know the video format, resolution, and frame rate per second. Okay, then once that's done, the NVR selector will help you recommend a few models. Okay, it will let you know how much bandwidth you need for a network and then which models that you need. Okay, of course, the days to store will determine your storage, but at the same time, you have to know what kind of rate you want. You want rate 5, rate 6, or rate 10. Okay, so then you have to choose and make sure that you use the right rate, and then you're going to add on the number of usable storage. Okay, look at it that the NVR selector will only help you know the usable storage that you need. Okay, for any rate, you got to add on the additional hard drive that you need. Okay. Then the next one is, how do you choose the correct model for a CMS host server? Okay, basically you got to check out and you got to find a similar model of CPU and RAM spec as an alternative. Okay, if you do not know, reach out to the sales or reach out to Lisa. They'll be able to help you and answer a question on this. Okay, CMS host server, it will be a good idea to contact any of the technical people to advise you, because they need to know what is your front end and what's your back end. Okay. Now, is it possible to add an IP camera over internet? So that means if you're remotely away from your customer site and they tell you that they have added a camera, now they want you to add it in for them into their surveillance station, okay, or the NAS. Yes, it's possible. All right, just to make sure that the NAS is reachable over the internet. Okay, and then all you have to do is just add in, all right, the camera. As usual, make sure all the ports are open and available for the router to make sure that it can be reachable over the internet. Okay, so all these are make sure that you have your management port and all your ports that are all available, and basically you can add on into the NAS. Okay, so basically what happens is, let's say I have a NAS in location A and the IP camera is in location B. Okay, make sure that the location B's internet is open, the router port is open, the management port is open. Okay, so in this case, depending on the camera, if it is on RTSP, make sure the port forwarding is done for port number 554, okay, on the router. Okay, so in terms of management, for example, if the management port is port 80, make sure the port 80 is open, or if it's 8080 or whatever number that it is. Okay, make sure you know what's the RTSP port, and make sure you know what's the management port. If all these ports are all open, you will definitely be able to add on the IP camera over the internet. Okay. Right. Next is to choose. Okay, how do you find a suitable client for your surveillance station? Okay, so you have different form of codecs, and then you have different form of clients available. Okay, so look at the codec, and then you can determine if you need to put in a visual station, or you want to use it on the camera, or you want to use it on a tablet, or you want to use it on a workstation. Okay, so there and there you have to look at the functionality and the codecs. Okay, especially for those non-common codecs, then you may want to say that I want to have a surveillance station client. Okay, so you have to set up a PC or workstation, and then install the surveillance station client software. It's free. Okay, and then to run it to be able to view your surveillance station. Okay. Now, if the license is locked, okay, what is required to reactivate the licenses? Okay, like I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned 3-4 times over the period of 1.5 hours. Keep a copy of your license. Okay, keep a copy of of course, you will know your NAS serial number. Okay, and the proof of purchase. Proof of purchase is either a hard copy of the license or the invoice. Okay, so all this, make sure you have it in hand and keep it with you. All right, and if it's locked, then you just have to reach out to Synology, show your proof. Okay, then Synology will assist you from there. Okay, over at the back end, they'll be able to help you once you're able to prove that this license key belongs to you. Okay, that you have purchased it legally, and they will double check with the source that sells you the license, and then you can get back your license. Okay, if you're unable to produce 3 of these requirements, then it's going to be very hard. You'll be more or less on your own, or you have to purchase a new license. Okay, have I seen customers do that in Singapore? Yes, there are customers in Singapore who basically did not keep the proof of purchase or did not keep a hard copy of the license. And what happened was the NAS was sent for RMA, and basically they lost the license and they have to repurchase a new license. Okay, so it does happen. It's not that it didn't happen before. And over the period of a few years, okay, I've been doing Synology for 11 years, so I've seen many such cases. So I can't stress enough, make sure you keep a copy of your license, and then also keep a copy of your purchase. Okay, license is perpetual. Okay, you can transfer, it's forever yours. All right, you don't have to purchase unless you lose it. Okay, so that is the information that's required to reactivate the licenses. Okay, so very quickly we come to the end of today's presentation. I'm going to leave some time for you guys to do a quick survey. Okay, please do the survey. Okay, because there are benefits for attendees. Okay, you can purchase things at a certain discount after your attendance has been verified by Synology. Okay. Okay. Once your attendance has been verified by Synology and basically you qualify for the benefits, you will be contacted, and then they will let you know how to get the benefit. Okay. Is everybody able to scan the QR code? The QR code is, the size is okay. I hope everything is fine. Okay. Anything else anybody want to see with regards to surveillance station? You can reach out to me, and then we can definitely help you on that. I'm just going to leave this QR code here for you guys to fill out your survey. Okay. And at the same time, I'll be around to answer questions. Also at the same time, Lisa is around. Lisa is the sales account manager for Singapore from Synology. Okay. Right. If you have any questions, just reach out to us on the chat box. Okay. We'll be here for you. Okay. Okay. So far today, we have more than 20 attendees. Very healthy. Okay, I'm just going to let the video run for a while because I'm waiting to see if there's any new questions or chat coming up. Okay. All right. So basically, what happens is I have let it stream for a couple of minutes. So far, no lag. I don't see any new questions. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to let it run for another minute. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to all of us. All right, we are definitely here for you. Other than that, thank you very much for spending your time together with me today. Okay, I hope I've been helpful and useful in terms of providing you the information. Do take note on the new updates that I've given you. take note on the new price increase, check back with your sales, okay? If you have any projects on those SKUs, please quickly update your sales and revalidate your quotation and make sure that Synology is aware of it. Take note of the stock status, okay? Make sure that the stocks are also updated on your site. Using the hard drives and SSDs and NVMe and the RAM, make sure they are of the correct models, okay? And if you need support plans, all right, reach out to the supplier or reach out to Synology. They'll be able to advise you. You can contact Lisa, okay? Lisa is around, okay? She will definitely be able to tell you more, okay? And also at the same time, if you have any questions other than that, we are definitely around, okay? If you want to see any live demonstration of the cameras, also just make an appointment. I'll be more than willing to show you guys on what you can do with the Synology surveillance station. Okay. Other than that, thank you very much for your time. All right. Look forward to our next topic again. Don't forget to join us on our Facebook page. Okay. We do have a Synology Singapore NAS user group on Facebook. Okay, do reach out to us. We'll definitely be able to provide more information from there also. But that one is more for consumers, all right? It's not so much for resellers. Take note of that. We will try to create another page for the resellers so that we can reach out more to more resellers and understand what's required. Okay. Other than that, all right. Thank you very much for joining us today. All right. Bye-bye.